In the heart of Arabia, more than 1,500 years ago, lost in a vast sea of sand, an orchard brimming with life broke through the dunes. Farmers, merchants, and nomads from times past were captivated by the wealth of those crystalline waters and the fruits of its forests, never imagining that their home was destined to become the capital of a kingdom. With the passing of the centuries, the jewel of the desert succumbed to fierce battles, historic conquests, and peace treaties. Antiquity gave way to modernity, and in honor of its fertility, the men baptized the town with the name Riyadh. Soon, new seas emerged out of that sand. Clay lost against steel, wadis gave way to highways, cars took the place of camels, and the trees transformed into giants, ready to scrape the skies. Today, more than half a century later, in the Riyadh of the future, architecture, design, and the most advanced engineering unite to restore that forest to its rightful place. Working as a team with some other internationally acknowledged companies like ADA TubeTech and ALS Architectural Lighting, our home Al-Babtain Power and Telecommunication Company, an institution with more than 60 years of history offering services and facilities of entire engineering, has developed and manufactured what will be one of the future art references of this city. An engineering, architectural, and artistic milestone made for transforming an immense crossroad into an alive sculpture that will remind the Saudi citizens that everything started in an oasis.
We wanted to create this contrast, giving the idea of bringing a kind of artificial forest. When a child would have to paint a tree, would make some of a sphere with a stick. But the prominent element in the tree is the crown. And we were thinking in how to mix color, light, and geometry to use in the design. Inspiration always comes from nature, giving this idea of movement, of twisting, that you can see when a tree is in movement or with the wind. Why not using an spiral, which is an element so much common in nature? And then we said, oh, that's nice.
Having finalized the design phase, our professional specialized team of Al-Babtain started working for real, making a steel forest formed of 27 spheres of 5, 7, and 9 meters in diameter, with a weight of almost 18 tons that needed to be installed at 18.5 and 25.5 meters high. A huge challenge, not only from the manufacturing point of view, but also from industrial logistics of labor.
The trunk will start with very big wide blades, more than 12 meter length, and we cut it through our cutting machine to make sure that all the dimensions is accurately cut. So we put all of these blades together and then we make it as the trunk with very high supervision and quality.
Achieving the ambitious technical results and the aesthetic parameters proposed during the design phase posed one of our greatest challenges: manufacturing pieces of an enormous puzzle destined to appear as a solid and unique structure in which the joinings would be rendered invisible to the human eye.
The sphere itself, it is part of big number of pipes. We have to bend the pipe into the required radius and make flanges between each pipe to make connections. And the beauty of it in how to make it connected. So we are having some hidden area where our staff will make the bolting as per the requirement to make the full shape of the sphere with very good quality and standards. The most critical and looks easy, but it is very difficult, is the thin plate and the direction of the thin plate and to make it smoothly radius with the pipe itself. all around the bending pipe with the same shape. That is the most difficult part of fabrications.
Tubes, plates, and steel flanges intended to fit perfectly without affecting the aesthetic result. Designed, cut, molded, and shaped to give the spirals the visual perception of movement as dreamed by the designers. Once the quality tests had been passed, came time for the first real litmus test, the construction of a 7-meter-high mock-up. A large-scale tree that would enable them to discover any future setbacks that could arise during the assembly and installation stages, as well as to analyze the impact of air currents via a wind tunnel study.
In Riyadh, there are sometimes very high winds. We're talking about 166 kilometers per hour of wind, sand, and high temperatures. All of this playing together, it meant enormous amount of thinking of how to make it completely stable and lasting, let's say, forever.
It was quite a complex exercise to look at the wind effects on these structures. We had to go back to doing a wind test. They weren't solid, wind could pass through them, but that also produced different effects of turbulence and twisting, torsion, etc. We also found there may have been interference effects where groups of spheres together increased the wind forces from one onto another. They analysed the effects of the wind forces on individual structures, and then also the model of an array of structures was put together, and they examined the wind forces on the group of structures and came up with a safe solution.
Finally, the mock-up demonstrated the spirals as a real success. Their design and assembly system allowed the architects and engineers from Al-Babtain to make a living sculpture in record time. After crossing the Mediterranean Sea, came the time to face their last big steps, the painting, assembly, and installation process. These last two, to be performed at night, were the riskiest stages of the whole undertaking.
It's an intersection between two main roads, like King Abdullah Road and King Khalid Road. So we decided to work at night time. The assembly part in the end of the project, we was working with around 110 person working in the area there. For installation, we need for each sphere or each trunk one team for install it, which around 10 person. So the total was around 120 person working, except the management which was there.
Our large team of engineers and operators worked for weeks against the clock, taking great care over each detail. An epic effort that needed to use the technology of one of the biggest cranes in the world, an industrial milestone in the history of Riyadh.
There was a lot of steps for the installation. First one is the assembly of the 1,600-ton crane with 158 boom limbs, which took around 1 month from mobilization till assembly, till certificate and make test for the crane and make it ready.
We actually appointed a specialist rigging consultant to come and supervise all of the aspects from the actual setting up of the crane, from the actual preparation of the ground under where we were going to set up this massive crane, and followed all aspects of the lifting operations.
With everything assured and checked, the Al-Babtain team started with the installation of the tree trunks and the pre-assembly of different segments of the spheres over temporary foundations. Little by little, and with perfect coordination, our professional crew converted the surroundings of the intersection into a garden of huge green balls. The treetops were already prepared for being hoisted. The moment of truth.
We would temporarily, for a very short period of time, organise with the traffic authorities to cut certain areas of the road on the interchange, place a sphere on its supporting trunk. Once all bolts were tightened, loosen it off and open the road to traffic again.
The first critical point was the first sphere which we installed, because this is the first trial for us to use a big crane to carry 5-meter sphere. We take the first one to the farthest sphere from the crane location, which was around 120 meters between the crane and the sphere. The crane is taking a long time, it's moving very slowly, so all of us was worried and was in attention.
The most challenge in this project, it was for the installation, especially when you brought a big crane and one day suddenly the crane broke down because of one mechanical problem in the crane. Everyone was putting his hand on his heart, that everyone was looking to the sphere at a height of 75 meters. We need to open the traffic for the cars and we cannot bring the sphere back down to the land. Too many pressure was over there, but with a great management from everybody, we successfully brought the crane back to its original place and we lead the sphere down to the land.
After the last sphere was put in place, the first light of dawn revealed, to the amazement of those present, a jungle of steel in the heart of the desert. Now only the finishing touch remained, the lighting, the art of giving life to structures that disappear when the night comes. A sector in which Al-Babtain is a reference standard, mixing engineering and design knowledge at the same time. Soon the trees would shine during the night as well as the day.
After that, we start to install the lighting. It was one of the beauty points in the sphere, which took around 3 weeks to complete the lighting work there.
What it's going to be amazing, it's that you will be able to perceive that something is going to happen. So you are going to coming into the forest and driving through the forest and seeing how the spheres turn and move while you are moving. Any viewer, any citizen who is going to go there will be rapt and amazed by the sculpture.
We completed as per the drawing, as per the 3D, which was only like a model in the paper. We are very happy, we are very proud that we complete the project nicely like that.
Spiral spheres will become an icon for the city, well known by all citizens and published in photographs all over the world.
When you wanted to know about the success of the project, you have to listen to the people. When you get a positive feedback, you feel happy. I think this is going to be the landmark in Riyadh because it gives another image of Riyadh.
I think they're unique. They look spectacular, they look strong. For me, I was proud to be part of this project. Very, very happy with the result.
That project, I think, will make Riyadh more pretty. Riyadh every year is developing, expanding the roads with the Riyadh Metro and with other very important projects for Riyadh. So I think we need to be part of this in Saudi Arabia. So we were very happy, and I feel after a few months I will drive by with my family to see this project and having very good feeling about our success.
Here at Al-Babtain, we will go on looking to the future, working and providing advanced services in all aspects of engineering, architecture, manufacturing, and lighting, without hesitation, ready to cross new horizons every day as protagonists in the rebirth of the capital of our kingdom. The metropolis, where more than 6 million inhabitants can gaze at this forest, with the same admiration with which their ancestors, 1,500 years ago, occupied the oasis that was destined to become a kingdom.